Radio Raheem with Danny Jacobs. It took IBA Golden Era in Turkey to bring us together. You know,
ain't that crazy?
How many years I have covered your career, and I would consider you a friend. I hope
sir.
the same is true.
Yes, sir.
And it's been too many years since I've seen you.
Yeah.
You're looking as well as you were in your fighting days.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
What is happening in life? I got to tell you, maybe even better, because there's a happiness on your face that was replaced with intensity before.
Yeah, no.
What's going on?
Freedom. Yeah, freedom. I am free, brother. I'm living life content and happy with where I'm at in the space that I'm at. A luxurious career that I left behind that I'm proud of, that I don't feel like I have to chase back to get to a certain point where I want it left identically how I needed to. I am so content. And you gotta think about it too, right? I wasn't even supposed to come back to boxing. Like, it was predicted for me not to be accomplishing all the things that I did after cancer. You know,
Right.
doctor saying you can't walk again, you better pick another career. So for me, it was only a blessing just to get back to the ring that one time when the Barclays Center opened up in
Right.
Brooklyn and they had that big, massive card there. So for me, that was a joy and that was my purpose, just to get back. So now, anything else is like icing on the cake, brother.
Well, I mean, talk about icing on the cake. What the IBA has done here in Turkey shows you what that icing can be like when you have
Yeah.
promoters and sanctioning bodies and stuff come together to create these massive events in boxing. I feel like between this Riyadh season and all the
Right.
things that are happening in our sport, there isn't really another era that looks like this.
Yes, sir.
Looks like this is decadence.
100%.
You know what I mean? What you will see this weekend lets you know how people are investing in the sport.
Yeah.
But I'd say you were kind of like on the cusp of the last era before these Brinks trucks started backing up.
Right.
What do you make of the time of your career and like how this environment we're in now has changed the sport?
Well, hey, look, for me, I'm grateful for all that was presented to me. I'm grateful for all that I had the opportunity of accomplishing. But the mere fact that my generation had it better than the generation prior, and that generation had it better than the generation prior. So a guy like, let's say, what's the most craftiest southpaw? Hagler, right?
Okay.
Hagler was not known for what he breeded financially. He was known for his skill set. Right, but I'm sure he would have wanted to be in a position to make what the Alis were making, or make what those guys at that time was making. So for me, it's like, yeah, I have an opportunity to have made this, but now social media has taken it and transformed it to where the YouTubers are making like multi-billions of dollars, which is great for the sport. But I just hope that at least the guys who sacrifice their lives and like all of the time that they put into it get the benefit off that too.
Right, they can get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things you'll see tomorrow night.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, talent on that IBA card, and a lot of people that have those kind of ambitions and are getting an opportunity on a great stage.
Yeah.
I gotta kind of run because you saw the look. So everybody wants to talk to Danny Jacobs. I'm glad that it's not just me you've been avoiding, sir. But so I kind of got to run down the boxing news so I don't take too much of your time.
No, you're good, brother.
I mean, obviously, Crawford, I don't know if you've crossed paths with him yet, but he just was in the building and walked right past before I saw you. And
Crawford's here?
Oh, he's here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got here. I'm trying to tell you, just like he passed by
He's a
about
man,
a minute before you popped up. So you will be running into him.
Awesome.
And Canelo will be running into him on September 19th.
Yeah.
You have a special understanding of what these things are like. How do you see that fight?
I see it being entertaining. Even if it's not like one of those gaudy war type of dynamics, based off of how people love both the fighters individually, I think it's just going to be a big event, heartfelt event. But we're hoping that those guys show up for the fans, meaning they leave it all in the ring that night. Where Canelo, we know he's a dog. We know that he's a pressure fighter. He's a defense technician, counterpuncher king, all of these great things. But Crawford too, being multifaceted in all his skill set as well, I think they both have the perfect recipe to create an amazing night for boxing.
The narrative behind the story is so obvious because the weight differential is extreme.
Yeah.
We saw Crawford at 54, but only one time. It wasn't a blistering success with Majmaf. He did win the fight. Do you think that is a significant factor in this fight?
I do. It's a factor. Significant? I don't know. It's a factor because if you swim without getting wet, if punch don't get hit, you can win on points. Luck up and even get, I don't know how hard or how easy it would be. That Canelo's never been dropped. He's never truly been hurt. So I don't know how easy that'll be. But to win on points and to be effective, he'd take it back to the amateur days. Crawford was so sharp back then. Like, it was point system. So if he can adopt that mindset, switch it up when need be, keep it on the outskirts, because we know Canelo fight in spurts. He sit on that front foot sometimes. He wait for the opponent to come, and then he waits to counter. But you can only counter something that's stationary, that's standing there. If Crawford follows the game plan, which I'm hoping is to hit, move, grab when he's coming, like all of the necessary tools that you need to be hitting and not getting hit from a guy like Crawford that's the smaller guy. I think he needs to embody that. But Canelo has everything in his favor. Size, the experience, taking punches from bigger guys. That even got to do something for your mental too, knowing that you're going in there fighting a smaller guy and he can't physically hurt you. That got to be a booster too. So it's going to be interesting because mindset is everything in this fight.
You talked about hitting and not getting hit and moving and the opportunities that Crawford, I'm sure, hopes to have in the ring to evade having to trade with Canelo, which would be crazy. However, Crawford's a little crazy. He might be willing.
That's a crazy Sorry, can we edit that out?
Ninja. He's a crazy ninja.
That slipped out.
No, we got a guy on it. The conversation of late has been the Tom and Jerry is the words we're using now because His Excellency has coined that now, the Tom and Jerry type of fights.
Yeah.
But you're a guy who was using his feet and using his defense elusively, but also offensive minded. You were no runner by any stretch of the imagination. But therein lies the debate. Yeah. Is it running to just hit and not be hit and move around the ring, not engage but point? Or do you think this so-called Tom and Jerry thing is a blight on the sport of boxing?
So I want to bring back something that I've always thought should be important, right? We need to see or have an understanding on the specific judges on each night of each fight, how they see their version of judgment when it comes to, oh, you're aggressive. I like aggression. You won that fight because there was a little bit more even in the punch category, so I'm going to go with who's the more... Like, how does judges actually score cards? Because you can never truly know, because if you follow the system and you fight one way the whole time, every judge would judge it different. So I think it's going to be really dependent on the judge based off of who's winning the consistent rounds, if it's not a landslide or if it's not like an obvious thing.
You as a former fighter, that's, by the way, that is a very, very salient point and educated response. It's true. There needs to be a system in place where we can potentially be able to kind of judge the judges before they get to judging. Right. So you know what kind of judge you're looking at when the judge comes your way, judgment comes your way. So with that said, and that's something I'm definitely going to look into, as you're the first to have said that. Yeah. When the fans enter the equation, the paying audience, and then you as a fighter, what I'm asking is, do you feel like in the tradition of boxing, if you will, is there something wrong with fighting like Skull fought Canelo?
Is there something wrong? No. There's nothing wrong with the way that a fighter fights, right? Because regardless to you getting to the point of having a worldwide audience view you, you've earned that. And something you've done has gotten you to that point. I think it's insensitive to tell a fighter to be more entertaining or to change his style. When if that's all that he knows, and it's at least worth it to have gotten him to the point, then like we shouldn't really be so, not critical, because I was critical on him that night too. I mean, he ran the whole fight, but I was understanding. And then there are cases in point where I appreciate those types of styles. The Cuban style, the punching, the hit, not get hit. It's just the excellence of the nature of boxing. I appreciate it. So I'm both sides of the fence. But do you actually start telling a fighter to risk his life or to put himself in harm's way if that's not what he's used to for the sake of the fans? I don't know if that's insensitive, or I don't know if that's something that we should be pushing, because when a fighter gets out of his mental comfort when he's inside the ring, he already lost.
Last one on this point.
Yeah. That touched you, I know. Yeah,
yeah.
Let that sit.
Everything. Listen. This is why I miss talking to this guy on and off camera, because you're getting bars. Like, if you don't know that you're getting bars, then you don't know enough about the sport yet.
Yes,
you're
sir.
learning right now, and I am as well, which I always do when I talk to you.
My brother.
Right now, Showbiz, the adult, he has talked about the no running rule.
Yeah.
And the possible institution of maybe the referee saying, "Hey, you got to engage," or I don't know, "I'm taking a point," or this not engaging is going to be somehow illegal as part of the rules setup. And then His Excellency has talked about making the ring 18 by 18 to constrict fighters from being able to get away that. Do you think either one of those solutions are reasonable or should be considered?
Well, the second one definitely not, because
that's the 18 by 18.
Yeah, the 18 by 18 is, I mean, I come from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I used to train in the PAO that was in Howard houses that had the smallest ring that there ever was known to man. And so I was even able to avoid and slip and hit and I get, like, if that's your style, then that's your style. Whether it's in a smaller ring, it just cut the chances of it being a lot versus just, enough. I do think that the referee should be able to say, "Come on, guys," but to take a point or to have an outside influence, especially somebody that's not in the ring, to have a say so on, I don't know, that's controversial to me. Yeah.
Okay. The fight we have coming up in the heavyweight division, undisputed. We're getting undisputed heavyweight champion now twice in the span of a year, and we didn't have one for 25 years. So this is, again, the era in which we live. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Dubois Usyk, what a matchup. Obviously, they fought before. A lot of people say Daniel was a different guy then. Maybe Usyk was a different guy then. We'll see.
Yeah.
What do you make of that matchup?
Great matchup. And I remember seeing Dubois. How you say it?
Dubois.
Shout out to Dubois. That's my guy. But I remember seeing him like years ago when he just really started to get buzz, and I was like, oh, he's a good heavyweight. Pretty basic, symptomatic, But then over the years, he just started getting better and better and beating the odds. So for me, I became a fan like within these last 2 or 3 fights where I'm just like, he got my support. But I do see the fight going either way. Controversial situation with the body shot last time around. Me personally love Usyk, but I thought it was an actual clean shot. And that's something that probably could have hindered the decision in that fight. I mean, was it going to be a knockout?
Right?
Like, what did he not make? He didn't make it, right?
No, he didn't try because the referee stopped. So we don't know if he would have tried to make it, what would have happened. But he was quivering on the canvas, so it looked like that could have stopped the fight.
And so to me, too, now with that dynamic being in place, it makes it even more exciting. And now Dubois having, I'm going to call him Daniel. That's my
okay.
Guy. So Daniel now having all of these good wins under his belt, it just makes it more antsy.
It's funny. He goes by Triple D. So Triple G goes away. The boxing rolls on. Here comes Triple D.
Yeah, I've been known in my past to be called Triple. Oh, never mind.
We got a lot of editing to do.
Yes, we do. That's yeah.
And last one, because there is a long queue for your attention and your time. Who else you will see here at this IBA event will be Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in the same room at the same time for the first time since Tyson has retired. It's kind of a two-part question, to be fair. Where do you think Joshua goes now after having lost to Triple D and we still haven't seen him with another opponent?
Yeah.
And then does Fury come out of retirement? Does that fight need to happen? If so, how does it go?
Man, it needs to happen. It needs to happen, especially for the diehard UK fans that swear by them guys and been to every fight supporting them. And, I think it's unjust to leave them with that bitter taste in their mouth. And me as a fan and also as friends, I would think that is a fight that needs to happen. I think Anthony Joshua has such a great legacy, but it stains that maybe when it's all said and done, he would just want to be like, yo, at least I got this, I got that, I got that. I wasn't the best, but I was good enough, or I was like one of the best of my generations. So I think there may be like some doubt or just not having the full contentment within his career if it was not to happen. I think that's a fight that he probably most likely feels in his heart he could win.
Coming from a man who is content with his career, who it shows in his speech and his face, his body language. I know when a guy is not happy, and this is a very happy man and content with what you did in the ring, because you are a fighter of your generation.
Thank you, brother.
And I appreciate the time as always. It's a pleasure to speak to you again.
Yes.
Radio Raheem with Danny Jacobs.